Oh, we're on the last page. Okay, before I do this last part, just keep in mind that's not the only things you need to know from Chem 161. Hopefully you kept your notes. If you need help with something that was a previous topic that you should have learned before, and I say that in class and you're like, I don't know what that is, check out my website, come talk to me. The last thing I'm doing is a couple of math concepts because these are going to be important a lot this semester. First of all, natural logs and log-based tens. Okay, you need to be able to find these on your calculator. Natural, right, is ln, or logs are log. You're only going to have log-based tens, so you can use the log button on your calculator. That's totally fine. So you need to know where those are. You also need to know how to do algebra with them. So you need to know that the inverse of a natural log is e to the x. And you need to know that the inverse of a log base 10 is 10 to the x. Okay. So if I gave you this equation and I said solve for x, you should know how to do that. Okay. So again, if you need help with this, check out the tutoring center or whatnot. If you are dividing in a log, this is actually the same thing as natural log x minus the natural log of 0.53. Okay. So I want to get x by itself. So I've got natural log over here equals negative 3.45. All right, then I'm going to move that over here. So I would get natural log x is negative 3.45 plus the natural log of 0.53. Okay, and you can do that in your calculator. Now, if I want to get x by itself, remember the inverse of the natural log is e to the x. So essentially, x equals e to the whatever this number was, negative 3.45 plus the natural log of 0.53. Okay, and you should get that x is 0.0168. I highly recommend trying that in your calculator right now. But remember, these are your inverses. This is going to be important when we're talking about pHs and buffers and equilibrium and all those kinds of things, right? Last thing is the quadratic equation. Now, if you have TI 89, you're just going to be able to hit solve for x. And you're not going to have to do the quadratic equation. However, if you don't have a TI 89, you have to be able to solve for x using the quadratic equation. So when do you have to use the quadratic equation? Well, when you have something like this, and I'm like, solve for x. Okay, so I am going to go through the math. You know how to do it. You don't have to watch this part. That's fine. But I am going to go through the algebra just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay, when do we use this? This is going to be mostly when I'm like, solve for x in equilibrium problems. And you're not going to have to use it every time, just sometimes. Okay, maybe one on a test or something like that. But let's go ahead and do this. So I want to get x by itself. You're actually going to have to multiply all this out. I need to get it in this form, right? If I am in this form, then I can plug in my a's, my b's, and my c's and solve for x. So I'm actually going to multiply this out. Okay, so I'm going to get 9.6 equals 4x squared over, let's see, first 0.1x minus 0.5x plus x squared. I'm going to move everything around. So I'm going to get 9.6 times 0.05 minus 0.6x plus x squared equals 4x squared. Right, going to multiply everything out over here now. 0.48 minus 5.76x plus 9.6x squared. I'll move this to the other side, minus 4x squared equals 0. Now, keep in mind, I did all these calculations really quickly. So sometimes I have an algebra mistake or like you got a different number. Don't hesitate to speak up. It's definitely possible that I, again, did it quickly and got the wrong number. So don't feel like you can't point that out to me. It's completely acceptable. All right, so let's get this in the right form, shall we? I would get 5.6 x squared minus 5.76x plus 0.48 equals 0. So this is now my A, this is now my B, and this is now my C. So I can plug that into the quadratic equation up here and solve for x. So I'm going to get that. X is, let's see, B is negative. So this is going to be 5.76 plus or minus the square root of, oh, this is long. Here we go. All right, negative 5.76 squared minus 4 times A was 5.6 and C was 0.48. Whew. all over 2 times 5.6. That looks like a lot of math. I'm going to get down to x equals 5.76 plus or minus 4.74 all over 11.2. So you'll get that x is either 0.9375 or 0.09107. Okay, and only one of those is ever going to work in the problem that we're doing. We'll do that later. I just wanted to make sure that you could do that math. Okay, so that is all I've got for you. You guys are going to need to do the practice problems after this on the group activity. Again, you can work as a group, you can work by yourself, but you are going to have to keep these in your portfolio. Show your work. All right, let me know if you have questions. Stop into my office hours, whatever works for you.